Hi, welcome to the series of Jasper Reports. In this session, we are going to learn about the usage of frame component in Jaspersoft Design Studio. The agenda for this session is, firstly, I will walk you through the basic of the frame component and its usage. Then we will see an example on how we can create a frame component to group the elements in a product detail report. Let's get started. What is a frame component? In the studio, a frame component is a container that can consist of the other elements. The other elements includes text fields or a graph or an image. Frame can contain background and border like any other element in the studio. Now, what is the usage of frame component? Generally, frame component is used to group the elements as a single object. Using the frame component, we can give common border or background color for the grouped objects for the grouped element as a single object. Moving frames from one position to another position is nothing but moving all the elements of the frame. Generally, frame stretches to accommodate its content. Now, let us move on to the sizing the frame. Frames can be sized to appear smaller than their contents. The report uses the height of the frame for each record. A frame that is too large can cause unwanted white spaces. Let us consider the scenario of a report that consists of fields and maps. On the slide, you can see that the report is designed with the fields and a map. In the first image, you can see that the frame size is larger than their contents. In the second image, you can see that the frame size is smaller than its content. So let us consider this situation. We are supplying some parameters to this report, and for certain selection of the parameters, we are not going to get the map in the output. In those situations, if we go with the first, if we go with the first design, then that means if we go with the frame size larger than their contents, then we will end up with the white spaces in the output. But in the recent releases, we have this flexibility to frame the size smaller than their contents. So whenever there is no map displayed in the output, we can avoid the empty spaces in the report output. So this is about sizing the frame concept. Now let us move on to the example. Let us consider the scenario of product detail report. So on the report, we are going to display company logo and the title, and we are going to embed these two elements in the frame. That means we are going to create a frame component based on these two elements. And in the other frame, we are going to group the uh, detail band text fields. So let us see how we can do this. So to start with, create a blank report from File, New, then Jasper Report, then select the blank A4 from the report templates, then click on Next. Let us save this report under Reports folder. So I am going to name it as frame component, then the product detail report. So let us give a meaningful name to the report. Then expand this Jasper Reports 2021 project and then save this report under Reports folder. So click on Next. Then from the data adapter dropdown, let us select the Foodma database, which I have already created in my local studio. So let us apply the query to the report. So I am querying the product table with product ID, brand name, product name, gross weight and net weight fields. And I am limiting these records to 50. So let us copy this query and paste it in the SQL editor of the studio. Then click on Next. let us take all the fields for the report. So basically we are going to design a grid-like report. So let us take all of these fields, then click on next. Let us skip group by field here. We are not going to group our report. So let us skip this one, click on next, and then click on finish. Now from the design space, let us remove the unwanted bands from the area. So for that, let's go on to the outline and let us select the bands that we want to delete. So we don't need page header, then column footer, page footer, summary, and the background band. So multi-select all of this, then right click on the selection, then click on the delete option. Now from the fields node, select the product ID, brand name, product name, gross weight, net weight fields, and drag them onto the detail band. So let us quickly format this report to have a grid-like view. So multi-select all of these elements, then position horizontally and vertically middle, and let's take the labels and increase the font size and let's bold it. Now from the palette, let us take the logo for the report. So drag it on, select the image component and drag it onto the title band. So the image selection mode here is absolute path for this demonstration. Basically, we do not opt this option when we publish the report to the server. This absolute path in the file system, we use it for unit testing purpose. So as we are not going to deploy this report to the server, let us go with this option. So browse, click on browse. Then from the pictures, I have this Tipco logo. Then click OK. And then this one. And let's give a title to the report. For that, from the palette, select the text field and drag it onto the title band. And let us take the same name that we use it to save the report. So frame component product detail is going to be the report title here. Click on finish. Let's quickly format this one as well. Horizontally, vertically position this text and let's increase the font size a bit more. So let's take then let's pull this one and let's remove the empty spaces here, save the report, and let's quickly run this report to see how the output shows up on the console. So this output just looks fine to me, but on this output we cannot identify the usage of frame component. So let's go back to the design. There are two ways to apply the frame components. Either we can select the component and drag it onto the particular band and insert the elements into that frame. So this is here. So from the palette, we can select the frame component and drag it onto the area where we want to group our objects. The other way is to select the components which you want to be available in the frame component. So right click on the multi-selection and we can see that this property creates a frame component enclosed into frame. So select this one. Now we can see that the frame is applied for the logo and the title of the report. Now whenever we add this frame component, it creates a node on the band where we put the frame component, and inside it we can see the elements. So frame is a single object here, and the elements of this frame is image and the title of the report in the text field. Now, to give border to this frame, let us select the frame from the from the node structure or from the design, and then go to the properties, and in the border section we can give this border. So let's save this report and run it again. Click on preview button here. So now we can see that the frame is applied with a border for the logo element and for the text field element. So this is a single object now. Now let's go back to the design and let us see another example on the same report. So I am going to group the detailed text fields as a single object. So multi-select all of these text fields, right click on this, then select the enclose into frame option. So now all the detail elements are grouped as a single object. Now we can give a common background color to this one and common border to all of these elements. So again, in the outline, we can see that frame is taken as a single object, and inside it we can see all the elements of this frame. So we have product ID, brand name, product name, cross weight, net weight. These are the different elements are grouped under a single frame. So let us select this frame and go to the properties, and let us take the background color, some random background color, and let's uncheck this one, and let's give the border. Save the report and run it again. So we can see that the report is displayed with two frame components. One frame component is for logo and the title of the report, and the other frame component is for the text field elements from the detail pane. So the second frame also displayed with the background color and border to the frame. So this way we can work with the frame components in the Jaspersoft Studio. So this brings us to the end of this session on the frame concept in the studio. So before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of what we saw in this session. So moving on to the next slide, what we have seen is that we have seen the basic of frame component and its uses in the first place. Then we have seen how we can create a frame component and how we can group the elements in a product detail report. So that's all for this session. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more updates.